good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Doug. I'm the very proud father of this beautiful bride, Amanda. And on behalf of my wife, Maureen, and Greg's family, Dennis, Lily, and Nancy, we of course, Amanda and Greg, thanks to all of you for coming out to celebrate this special day with us. We really appreciate it. So I know many of you come from quite a distance this weekend to attend, and I think I speak for both families by saying how much we appreciate your time and your thoughtfulness and the amount of time you've taken to get here this weekend. I know a lot of people made very long trips from all sorts of places. So we hope you all have a great time this weekend. Also like to thank everyone who helped to put the wedding together in the big ways and the small ways. First, Amanda and Greg, they did an outstanding job. They took a lot of the load themselves. And of course, Maureen assisted them as well. So they did a great job, and I think you'll really enjoy all the festivities. Okay, so the last time I did this was 6 years ago for Mandy's sister's Jen wedding, and with our new son-in-law, Matt, at the time. And it struck me as I was printing these notes out that I needed a much bigger font this time than I did 6 years ago. A lot's changed over the last 6 years, including my eyesight, the color of my hair, and my waistline. It's very depressing. But each of us have new jobs. In Maureen's case, she had an early retirement, so congratulations for that. And we each have new places. Mandy, Greg, Jen, Matt, and Maureen and I all have new homes in new geographic locations. We have two wonderful grandchildren, Gabe and Abby, that they have come along in the last 6 years, and now Mandy's marriage to Greg. So it's been a really crazy 6 years, but we're truly blessed. So by the way, I think I did mention that we all have jobs now, right? So including these two, which is the key to my financial freedom. So there's a quick unannounced ceremony for tomorrow. We're going to cut up our credit card, our joint credit card. So you can wait one more day for the honeymoon, right? So you thought tonight was the culmination of the ceremony. Tomorrow is my culmination of the ceremony. Well, much to Amanda's dismay, most of the people that know the two of us know that we're very similar in personalities. Of course, it's partially genetic, but it's also partially we were both born in May, under the sign of the Taurus, of the bull. So that brings upon certain traits that Maureen will elaborate on at any moment she can get a chance to. We both love to meticulously plan things, preferably in an electronic spreadsheet or project plan format. We have an uncontrollable need to control the execution of any plan. Neither of us likes to lose, and we both work hard to make sure we don't. We both know that most of the time we are right and you are wrong. And when something does go wrong, it's probably not our fault, but we'll accept full responsibility. Most of the people I work with understand that one very well. And we both have a sense of determinism that many times gets misconstrued as being pig-headed. So I don't see it, but do you, Anna? I don't think so. So I could go on and on with more of these enviable traits I'm sure a lot of you wish you had. But Maureen keeps the complete list, and if you'd like to see her to review it later, add something to the list, feel free to talk to her. Okay, well, I'm getting to the part where it's going to be tough, so hang on. So given that list, you must be asking yourself, what the heck was Greg thinking? Well, I haven't specifically asked him, and I didn't want to scare him before we got this far into the day. But he's probably thinking the same thing that Maureen thought about me 32 years ago. I can fix this. So, Greg, this is my advice to you. Not so much. But I do have to say that I'm confident Greg is up to the task. I have one story to share with you that I think best exemplifies his character and is especially apropos on his first weekend of NFL football. When I first met Greg, one of my due diligence questions was to determine if he was a football fan, and if so, which NFL team he followed. Now, before you judge me as the type of father that puts football over ahead of his daughter's happiness, I have to say a couple of things in my defense. First, there's no requirement to score 100% on my test. Of course, all the questions have their own weighting scales, but I don't let anyone know before I ask the questions. Second, I made the mistake the last time I vented a new son-in-law to not have that on the list. And now every fall, I endure the pain of watching these pictures come up on my iPad of my new grandson in a Ravens uniform. Exactly. Well, anyway, to continue the story, since Greg grew up in Connecticut, I braced myself when I first talked to him about this because I was sure he was going to declare his allegiance to the New York Giants, being a Connecticut guy. When he said he wasn't a Giants fan, I got to admit, I was extremely relieved. I think I'm out of order here. They're sticking together. No. I know the rest, so don't worry about it. So he wasn't a Giants fan, that helps. And I figured, okay, well, he went to undergrad in Boston. So he's probably a Patriots fan. All these guys, they're young football fans. It's so easy to be a Patriots fan. They win all the time, you know. What's the fun of that, you know? So I figured, all right. So I figured, okay, Greg, you're a Patriots fan, right? He said, no, I'm not a Patriots fan. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So then I knew he was living in Pittsburgh with Dennis and Lily, and he was working there, and he's, you know, in Pittsburgh. Everybody in Pittsburgh's a Steelers fan. So I said, oh, Greg, so you're a Steelers fan? He said, no, I'm not a Steelers fan. So I was like, wow, man, that's really piqued my interest at this point. And I figured, you know, wow, you know, this guy's got some character. But then I thought, I had a wave of dread. I thought, you know what? I don't know about you guys, but every time I meet somebody that comes from, that roots for a team where they've never lived, they turn out to be a Cowboys fan. That would be worse than a Giants fan, for sure. So fortunately, he said he wasn't a Cowboys fan. And I said, all right, Greg. Greg, what are you? If you're not a Cowboys, you're not a Giants, you're not a Patriots fan, what are you? And he said, I'm an Eagles fan. And I was like, so it made my day for sure. Especially, I think that was the first time around that time that I got my first picture of my grandson in the Ravens uniform. So I was particularly vulnerable at that time. So anyhow, I thought, okay, well, he's an Eagles fan. That made me really happy. And then I remembered this list of traits that I read off about Amanda. And I was sure Amanda put him up to saying that he was an Eagles fan. Well, since then, I've done a lot of my due diligence. And he for sure is an Eagles fan. I have enough empirical evidence to know that he wasn't just trying to get on my good side. So that's, you know, so I guess the bottom line is it takes a lot of character, a lot of determination, and a lot of intelligence to be an Eagles fan. And those are all the traits. All right, I'm very lost now. So I guess the next thing I just wanted to say is that, you know, to be serious for a moment, that I really admire Greg's ability to support Amanda, to love Amanda, and to treat her the way I would want her to be treated. And it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to Maureen. So we very much appreciate that, Greg. And Amanda, I admire the ability to encourage and support Greg, your fierce loyalty to him, and your pride you take in his accomplishments. So it's you guys are meant to be together. You often wonder as a parent how well your children will turn out. You wonder what sort of life decisions they'll make, especially those you have no control over. What friends will they choose? Who will they pick as a partner to share their life with? Will that person love and care for them as you would, and will you approve? Well, for what it's worth, Amanda, your mom and I think you made a great choice in Greg. We're so proud of the loving and caring, responsible adult you've become. It's been our absolute joy and privilege as parents to watch you and help you guide you through that journey. So in sticking with tradition, I think at this point I'm supposed to pass on a tidbit of worldly advice. So Maureen knows how much of a romantic I am, so here we go. I once read that a successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. And I think that's very apropos. The journey you guys are starting today will bring you many joys, but also many challenges and even occasional heartache. Both of you will be shaped and molded by those events and cannot help but to be changed in some way by each of those experiences. It's the shared experiences and how you adapt and communicate with each other along the way that will make your relationship grow stronger. So with that said, that's the end of the seriousness. So I have one last responsibility before I turn over the floor to Matt for the blessing, which I hope he is shorter than mine. Manny and Greg, may you have a long and happy life together, and may all of your dreams and aspirations come true. So it's my great pleasure to propose the first toast to the happy couple. I ask you to all please rise and raise your glasses. To Mandy and Greg, congratulations. We love you both. Cheers. I lost the whole page.
Thank you, Ben.
I lost the whole page. Very nice.
I wouldn't know.